Chapter 1485. Why do you want me to leave? Why can't we leave together? Gu Mingming could not hold back her tears. She wiped her face harshly and sniffled. Then she begged, Gregory, didn't you say that I am the most important thing to you? Didn't you say that as long as I coax you, you will listen to everything I say? I will coax you now, I can coax you however I want. Leave with me, all right? Gregory's voice was choked with sobs and he could not help but tremble. He said, Baby Meng, be good. Don't cry. Now, I can no longer hug you to comfort you. It's all right. It's all right if you can't hug me. I can hug you. Let me hug you. I won't cry if I hug you, all right? Gu Mingming tried to take another step forward. Gregory growled, If you come any closer, I can only jump down from here. Don't be rash. I won't go over. I won't go over, all right? Gu Mingming was so scared that she did not dare to take another step back. She was afraid that he would really jump down in agitation. She even took a step back. I'm going back. Please don't jump. You don't have wings now. Although I can fly, I'm not good at it. I'm afraid I can't catch you. I'm timid. Don't scare me. I beg you, sob. I'm scared. I won't jump if you don't come over. So don't be afraid. Don't make my heart ache. Be good. Leave before the wind rises, all right? Gregory's words were coaxing, sincere, and even pleading. Gu Mingming shook her head. Leave with me. I'll bring you along before the wind rises. Aren't you waiting for me to like you? I like you, all right? Leave with me. I will definitely like you properly in the future. I will treat you very, very well. Leave with me. I beg you. All right? Gregory sighed deeply and said helplessly, I've said it before, I don't want to show a pitiful look in front of you to gain your sympathy. So, don't say that you like me at a time like this. Let me preserve my last pride as a bird, okay? No. What bullsh** T pride, how much is it worth? Gu Mingming shouted hysterically, As long as you come with me, I don't want any pride or self-respect. I'll give them all to you. I just beg you to come with me. This was the Moda Mountains. Now that Gregory had no wings and was covered in injuries, it was obvious what would happen to him if he stayed. Gu Mingming was already carrying Snake's life, she could not afford to carry Gregory's life anymore. She was the one who wanted the love of the sky. If there was a price to be paid, she should be the one to pay. Why should others suffer for her? Why should others pay for her life? She didn't want it. Baby Meng, don't be like this. Gregory's back was facing Gu Mingming the entire time. He took 2 deep breaths to force himself to sound as though he was calm. Then he slowly said, Between us, it has always been a countdown. Regardless of whether it was in Solder or later on in the Moda Mountains, I was always counting down the days when I would lose you. It's better this way, at least I don't have to worry about losing you in the next second. Chapter 1486. Baby Meng, be good, stop fooling around. Gregory lowered his head. My life started from the day I met you. You gave me the meaning of living. This situation now is the happiest for me. Because I have loved you completely for my entire life and you have also made me happy for my entire life. What nonsense are you talking about? Our lives are still very long. Follow me and I will tell you how long a lifetime is. Gregory shook his head. Baby Meng, I lied to you. Gu Mingming was taken aback. I don't mind. I forgive you. No matter what you lied to me, I will not be angry at you. Really, I'm really not angry. So, come with me, okay? Gregory replied. Actually, I knew from the start that I would not be able to leave after you obtained the love of the sky. Gu Mingming was stunned. Countless moments of their conversation replayed in her mind. He was always perfunctory. He said that after she obtained the love of the sky, he would stay in the Moda Mountains to fulfill his responsibilities as a leader. He said that he would wait for the dry season for her to come to the Moda Mountains to avoid the heat and reunite with him. He even said that he would fly down the mountains to look for her when he was free. She had felt that something was off then. Now, it seemed like he was just being perfunctory. No wonder every time she asked him to leave with her, he would either change the topic or not respond. From the start, he knew what kind of price someone had to pay for her to obtain the love of the sky. So he had planned to die for her from the start? The funny thing was she was still eagerly counting down the days. Day after day she waited in front of him for the day the wind stopped. She looked forward to obtaining the love of the sky as soon as possible. What she was looking forward to was not the love of the sky. What she was looking forward to was Gregory's death. What kind of emotions did he harbor when he brought her to fly 2 rounds in the sky? What kind of emotions did he harbor when he told her, there's not much time left. Let's go and obtain the love of the sky first? What kind of emotions did he harbor when he heard her say, "If you are still not angry after obtaining the love of the sky, let's fly 2 more rounds"? And what kind of emotions did he use to reply her with, "All right"? Damn it, Gu Mingming had never felt so terrible before. What had she done? "I lied to you about the love of the sky." Gregory slowly opened his mouth and said, "That bird did not fall in love with the beast, but with the previous messenger of the beast deity. He didn't leave behind his wings and the beast to fly far away to live a peaceful and happy life. Instead, he stayed here to watch over someone for her. Wait for that strand of soul to return." Gu Mingming was at a loss and did not know how to react. She could only listen to Gregory's words in a daze. "You wanted to enter, but I didn't let you enter the cave. That's the real body of the bird, the one without wings." Gregory sighed and continued, "According to legend, this mountain was transformed from the most beloved partner of the previous messenger of the beast deity after her death. His body and soul were scattered all over the beast world and he needed to wait for a fated person to collect them again. When everything was back in place, the partner she loved the most would be resurrected. So, the previous messenger of the beast deity arranged for different people to guard different places to protect that person's body and soul." Chapter 1487. The marriage agreement between the vulture tribe and that great one was set because of this. Gregory purposely spoke in a relaxed tone, as if he was talking about something unrelated to his life. But no matter how he tried to play it down, he could not change the cruel truth. To be able to hear that great one's messenger's summons, that is the inheritance of the bloodline. Only this bloodline can keep this mountain under control. "So, this pair of wings that I took was exchanged with your wings, right?" Gu Mingming uttered this most direct conclusion word by word. Gregory hesitated. He did not want Gu Mingming to face such a situation, so he sent her away while she was unconscious. He thought that the next time she returned would be during the dry season next year. By then, even if she knew that he had died, a year had already passed and she would not be so upset. Or even, in this year she would meet new people and new things. Perhaps by then she would have already forgotten that there was someone waiting for her to escape from the heat on Mota Mountains and live a carefree life. Although being forgotten sounded tragic. But at least she was happy. Gregory felt that that was good enough. But he didn't expect her to come back so quickly. Before he had time to clean up his mess and get rid of all the evidence, she actually came back. There was no use in denying it now. Everything was laid out before him. What was the use of denying it? Nodding his head with difficulty, Gregory spat out a single word, "Yes." Gu Mingming fell violently, as if she was suddenly weightless after using a thin fishing line to tie a 500-kilogram weight. A bloody wound appeared on her heart, but that pain could not compare to Gregory's bloodied back view in front of her. "I don't want it anymore. I will return this pair of wings to him and let him continue to keep this mountain under control. I don't want the love of the sky anymore. I don't want it anymore. I want you. Come with me, all right?" "Baby Meng, don't say such willful words. My wings are already broken. The pair on your body is no longer the love of the sky. Mine is. This kind of thing cannot be reversed. It cannot be returned just because you say so." Gregory sighed and slowly said, "I haven't finished talking about the legend." Gregory paused for a moment as if he was trying to catch his breath. He then coughed twice before continuing. "It was said that as long as the partner of the messenger of the beast deity could be revived, then the bird guarding this place would also be reborn. Now, my wings have replaced his and become the new love of the sky, and I will go to another cave to start the ritual. Then I will be like him, guarding this mountain without wings. So don't be sad, this is not a situation where death is certain. Perhaps. You're trying to trick me again." Gu Mingming interrupted Gregory's words and shouted at the top of her lungs, "How are you going to lie to me this time? Tell me, can whales be resurrected? Then your wings will grow back and then you can come back to me? Do you think I'm a 3-year-old? "I'm not lying to you this time. I'm telling the truth," Grace explained. Chapter 1488. Gregory's back stiffened and he could not move at all. Gu Mingming smiled, cried and pleaded, "Look, you don't even dare to turn around to look at me. Are you afraid that I will expose your lies, or are you afraid that you will not be able to resist and leave with me when you see me? Gregory, you said you like me, is that true? You like me so much, why are you not willing to turn around to look at me? Do you know how sad I am right now? How helpless, how terrified I am? Look at me, look into my eyes and tell me you don't care. Even if I cry myself to death here, you won't care." Baby Meng, stop fooling around. Gregory's tone was filled with helplessness. If it was possible, why would he not want to look at her one more time? Suddenly the ground shook and Gu Mingming fell to the ground. Her scream finally caused Gregory to panic and he suddenly turned around to look towards the direction of the sound. Gu Mingming fell to the ground and was stunned when she saw Gregory's face. "Baby Ming? Where are you? Are you okay? Answer me, hurry." Gregory hurriedly walked towards the direction of her voice, but he did not see her sitting on the ground. He directly walked past her, as if he did not realize that there was a bottomless abyss in front of him. He only called out her name anxiously, "Baby Ming, don't scare me. Where are you?" "Gregory, I am here." Gu Mingming finally could not control her tears anymore. She wanted to put up a brave front and did not want Gregory to think that she was pitying him, so she tried her best not to mention the wings and also tried her best not to cry too obviously. But now she could not hold it in anymore. Gregory's eyes, that pair of eyes that could accurately find her the size of a sesame seed from 6,000 meters high in the sky, now only had 2 bloody holes left. He was crying just now because of her pleading, because of her pestering, because of her persistence, and what he was crying was not tears but blood. From those eyes, the blood turned into tears and flowed down his entire face. Hearing Gu Mingming's voice, Gregory heaved a sigh of relief. Gu Mingming could feel that even his breathing was trembling. Gregory turned around and felt his way to Gu Mingming's side. He asked gently, "What happened? Did you fall and hurt yourself? Does it hurt? Why is his tone like this? Just how serious is his injury? Baby Ming, be obedient and go look for Leah, alright? His medical skills are excellent, he can definitely cure you." Gu Mingming reached out and wrapped her arms around Gregory's neck. She hated the smell of blood. It had been since that weird bonfire party during her coming-of-age ceremony. That was why Elvis and Leah did not even allow their tribesmen to bring their prey back to the tribe to be processed. Instead, they would directly process it outside and bring back clean meat. After the incident with Snake, she had become even more resistant to the smell of blood and would usually avoid it as far as possible. But today, the smell of blood did not make her feel afraid or disgusted. Instead, it made her heart ache. He was injured to this extent, but he didn't even frown, but because of her fall, he was confused. "Yeah, I'm hurt. It hurts so much. Gregory, stay with me, okay? I'm begging you, I'm injured. Is my leg going to break? It's bleeding? Actually, it was just a scratch." Chapter 1489. It was just that she was too concerned. "I recognized this mountain when I flew back, but if I fly out, I won't be able to find the way. If you don't accompany me, I will definitely be trapped in Moda Mountains and I'm injured. Will I die from excessive blood loss on the way? Gregory, I'm scared. Accompany me, just send me out of Moda Mountains, just send me, alright? It's so painful, it's really painful." As Gu Mingming said that, she wrapped her arms around Gregory's neck tightly and refused to let go. He clearly had no arms and could not push her away, but she was so afraid that he would struggle free, so she just hugged his neck tightly and begged him coquettishly, sobbing into his ears, hoping to soften his heart. As long as he was willing to follow her down the mountain and out of the Moda Mountains, even if she had to knock him unconscious and tie him up, she would definitely keep him by her side and not let him die on the Moda Mountains. Gregory's body was extremely stiff. Not only was he suffering from the pain of his broken wings, being blinded and his body full of injuries, he was also suffering from the pain of having a new wing, and it was twice as painful as hers. But all the pain seemed so insignificant in front of her hug. Every cell in his body was in so much pain that his organs felt like they were on fire. But seeing her clinging to him like that, he had never felt so blissful in his life. "I will arrange for a member of the bird tribe to lead the way and send you out." Without his arms, he could not push her away, but he could not hug her either. This was the first time she had such a strong desire for his embrace, but he could not give her any reciprocation. If there were regrets, this could be considered one. "You also felt the tremor just now, right? I must immediately activate the sacrificial ritual, or else this mountain will collapse. By then, my wings would have been broken for nothing, and the entire bird tribe would have to die. Most importantly, once that happened, Gu Mingming and her partner would not be able to leave. Promise me, don't take off the feathers on your ears. Because I will become the wind and blow those feathers to tell you that I still love you, that I miss you very much, that I am watching over you." Gu Mingming shook her head. Her throat felt like it was being forcefully choked by a hand, and she could not make a single sound. "I lived for you and I will die for you. Baby Ming, I've loved you my whole life. This is the thing I'm most proud of." "I won't." Gu Mingming cried so hard that she could not breathe. She hugged Gregory tightly and refused to let go. "Even if I have to tie you up, I will tie you up. I don't care if this mountain collapses or not, I just don't want you to die." Gregory sighed and said, Baby Ming, I didn't make myself look like this just to make you cry. Be good and smile, okay? Chapter 1490. I will become the wind and always protect you. I promise. Gregory promised. I don't believe you, you lied to me again. Gregory smiled bitterly and said, I swear if I lie to you again, I will be alone for the rest of my life and never see you again. Look, I lied to you last time, so I made the vow to break my wings and become blind. Looks like my vow is quite effective. I care so much about you, never seeing you again is the most vicious vow. So, believe me one more time, alright? The ground shook violently again and Gregory could not hug Gu Mingming. He could only use both his legs to stabilize himself so that Gu Mingming would not get hurt because of the shaking. Baby Ming, I really don't have much time left. Be good and leave now. I don't want to leave you alone. Leave with me together. Gregory clenched his teeth and closed his eyes to pray silently. Then the wings behind Gu Mingming suddenly spread open. The force was so strong that it could not be resisted and Gu Mingming was directly brought to the sky by those wings. Gregory. Gregory. Gu Mingming's heart-wrenching scream rang through the sky. But Gregory stood on the spot and smiled bitterly at the direction where Gu Mingming's voice disappeared. He said, Baby Ming, the cowherd and weaver girl are not actually tragic. At least they can still meet once a year. That is something worth celebrating. Fifth. I can really return to your side one day. Let's also celebrate Chinese Valentine's Day, alright? The distance was too far and Gu Mingming could no longer hear what he said. And Gregory was very clear that he could not wait for Gu Mingming's reply. So, he just stood there for a while before walking steadily towards the cave on the other side of the mountain peak. It was said that the two caves on the mountain peak were originally the mouth of a volcano. One of them had been guarded by Wang Xiaoxin's flying partner for thousands of years, while the other, Gregory, stood at the mouth of the lava and took a deep breath. With a smile on his face, his mind was filled with Gu Mingming's voice and smile these few days. Even if he died he would have no regrets. Males in the beast world were never afraid of death. Dying for the female they loved was a supreme glory. Although it was a small mistake to let Gu Mingming see his pathetic state at the end, it did not matter. If he could return from nirvana one day, he would use an even stronger version of himself to erase the blemish left behind today. Birds had their own pride. He didn't want his baby Meng to remember him as a useless cripple in the future. Without hesitation or fear, Gregory leaped into the lava. The magma boiled and then gushed out. From afar, it looked like fresh blood was flowing out of one of the giant snake's eyes. This was the second time Moto had cried blood. The last time it happened was when Love of the Sky became the sect's guardian treasure. When Gu Mingming saw the lava flowing out from the snake's eye, she knew what had happened. Her vision darkened and she fainted. So what she didn't know was that after the lava stopped flowing, a statue wrapped in lava slowly rose from the cave and finally blocked the entrance. Just like the statue in the other cave, it guarded the highest peak of the Mota Mountains. When Gu Mingming woke up again, she was already at the borders of the Mota Mountains. Chapter 1491. Gu Mingming opened her eyes and rubbed her throbbing temples. She pulled her lips and tried her best to smile. Li's heart ached terribly. He hugged Gu Mingming and said, "Don't smile if you are not feeling well. Who are you putting on a brave front for?" Gu Mingming's throat was hurting badly. Luckily, Elvis had already prepared some water for Gu Mingming so that she could drink a few mouthfuls to moisten her throat. Mota Mountains had already regained its peace. Gu Mingming did not need to ask to know how long she had been unconscious. No matter what Gregory wanted to do, he had already succeeded. She could not stop him. It was too late. Gregory was the real heartless one. He was forcing her to believe in the legend. But what else could she do if she did not believe it? She could say that she was lying to herself or was superstitious. She could only believe that when Wales was resurrected, Gregory would also return. Touching the feathers on her ears, Gu Mingming did not say a word and just smiled faintly. He said that even if he could not see, he would feel blissful as long as she smiled. Then she would smile for him to see. "Where's Wabi? He's not back yet?" Gu Mingming did not mention Gregory at all. Elvis and Leah naturally would not ask for it. Seeing that she had changed the topic, they just thought that she was unwilling to talk about that sad matter. Gu Mingming had always been sentimental. Elvis and Leah could still remember how depressed she had been when Snake died. In comparison, Gu Mingming's current reaction was already considered good. He's not back yet, but he probably won't be back. Elvis and Leah could not finish the second half of the sentence. Gu Mingming rubbed her forehead and said, "What exactly happened inside? You two tell me." Elvis and Leah exchanged glances but neither of them said a word. Oriton remained silent for a moment before saying, "I'll go hunting first." Leah seemed to have found an excuse and smiled. You must not have eaten any delicious food these days in the mountains. I'll go with Oriton and pick some of your favorite food to cook for you." With that, he left without another word. Gu Mingming knew that he was hiding from her, afraid that she would question him. Gu Mingming nestled in Elvis's arms and remained silent for a moment before saying, "Tell me, I don't have the energy to waste now and I don't want to waste my energy to guess blindly." Elvis hesitated for a moment before nodding. "Not long after we reached the foot of that mountain, Wabi suddenly went berserk. His eyes were bloodshot and he started attacking randomly without differentiating between friend and foe. Leah and I tried to control him but to no avail. Didn't succeed." Gu Mingming did not understand. By right, although Wabi was strong, he was only a 5th level beast. Elvis was a beast king, there was no reason for him to lose. Chapter 1492. A secret tunnel that only snakes could pass through? Gu Mingming's head hurt terribly. Before entering, Wabi had mentioned that he had a strange feeling about the Moda Mountains. She had even asked him if he had been here before, but Wabi said he had no recollection. But there was a snake tunnel here, and Wabi easily found the entrance in this snow-covered mountain range. Led by something, Gu Mingming's mind suddenly exploded. She suddenly recalled that Wabi had asked her before entering, did the shape of this mountain resemble him? At that time, Gu Mingming had even teased him, saying that didn't all snakes look the same? If it was snake he would also look the same. Wabi didn't say anything back then, but Gu Mingming knew that all snakes looked the same to her, but snakes could differentiate the details. Just like the mark on the back of her neck. She, Elvis and Leah couldn't see any changes, but Wabi could tell at one glance that it wasn't the mark left behind by snake. Perhaps, Gu Mingming frowned and grabbed Elvis's hand. "Let's go see father. I have to go see him." "Now," Elvis said worriedly. "It's not safe here. If we sleep together, Leah and Oriton can't take care of us. Then I'll go by myself," Gu Mingming said. Elvis pursed his lips. "How about this, when Leah comes back you can eat something first. At least don't starve. Then I'll find a cave to settle down in, and we'll go see the beast deity together, alright?" Gu Mingming knew that she had obtained the love of the sky, which meant that the doors of time and space were just one step away from opening. Elvis was probably getting more and more uneasy. "Alright." Gu Mingming didn't insist. 2 days ago, Gregory had told her that Elvis and Leah had already reached the foot of the mountain. That meant that Wabi had been in trouble for at least 2 days. No matter how anxious she was, she wouldn't be in a short period of time. Because of Gregory, Elvis and Leah were already very worried. She couldn't make them even more uneasy. Leah had brought back many of Gu Mingming's favorite fruits. After washing them with the chilly water from the stream, they were as refreshing and sweet as if they had been chilled. Elvis told Leah that Gu Mingming was going to see the beast deity. Was not surprised. He just reminded Elvis to take good care of Gu Mingming. Even Gu Mingming understood the so-called care. Leah was also afraid that she would do something rash when she was in a bad mood, such as passing through the doors of time and space to return to the modern world without looking back. She would never do this, but Elvis and Leah would never believe it no matter what. After lunch, the group set off in the opposite direction of Mota Mountains. After walking for about half a day, they found a cave that was more suitable for them to stay in temporarily. Elvis and Leah went in to tidy up the place and made a simple bed using the newly tanned beast skin from the afternoon hunt. They then let Elvis hug Gu Mingming to sleep first. Gu Mingming knew that after she fell asleep, Leah would definitely use delicacies as bait to lure Oriton to hunt for more and better beast hides so that she could sleep more comfortably. Actually, she felt that there was no need for that because she was really not that delicate now. It would not be a problem even if she directly slept on the ground. But she did not say that out loud. Because she knew that Leah was not like Elvis who could follow her to the dream realm to meet the beast deity. Being alone, he would definitely be more uneasy. Closing her eyes, the white fog gradually filled the air. Gu Mingming could feel that Elvis was hugging her even more intensely than before. She did not resist and allowed Elvis to hug her like that. Chapter 1493. The beast deity was still standing at the highest point welcoming her with a smile. Gu Mingming was physically and mentally exhausted. She forced a smile and leaned into the beast deity's arms. She called out softly, "Father, I am back. Oh, my little angel, you are so powerful. You even grew wings," the beast deity said in a teasing tone. Gu Mingming's eyes were dry. She wanted to cry but could not. She did not know if her tears had all been used up on Mota Mountains. She could only feel her nose aching and her eyes aching. You clearly know what I went through on Moda Mountains, yet you still poke at my heart with those words? I am seriously suspecting whether you are really my biological father now." The beast deity chuckled as if he did not take Gu Mingming's words to heart. He just held her shoulders and brought her to sit on the long bench. He smiled and said, "Look at this place, what's different?" Gu Mingming looked around. The green fungus that was originally only 2 square meters had now become so vast that there was no end to it. Other than when she came, she could not see the white fog anymore. Gu Mingming guessed that the construction of this illusion was almost complete. As long as she obtained the spirit of the rocky cliffs, the doors of time and space would open. By then this place should be in its complete form. But other than the area becoming bigger, Gu Mingming could not see any other difference. The beast deity did not seem disappointed. He pointed to the grass not far away and said, "Look carefully there." Gu Mingming's gaze landed on the grass for a long time. Other than the waves of movement, she really could not see anything special about the grass. Wait a minute, the grass was moving, because there was wind. The feathers on her ears swayed slightly. Gu Mingming's pupils dilated. She looked at the beast deity dumbfounded. Her face was filled with surprise and joy. She did not dare to say the answer out loud, afraid that she was overthinking and rejoicing for nothing. The beast deity seemed to know what she was thinking about. He smiled lovingly and nodded. He said, "Everything he said to you is true. His wings are the new love of the sky. All the wind in the beast world comes from there. He even chased you all the way here just to tell you." The beast deity purposely paused and did not finish his sentence. He just looked at Gu Mingming encouragingly and gestured for her to continue. "He's telling me that he still loves me, that he misses me, that he's watching over me." The beast deity nodded and said, "The separation is temporary. When you gather the 7 treasures and revive that person, Gregory will return. So don't be sad, he is only fulfilling his duty as the leader of the Moda Mountains and protecting them." Gu Mingming covered her face and finally cried out. When she woke up, she didn't dare to cry because Grace said that he would be happy if she smiled, so no matter how sad she was, she still smiled. She forced herself to believe that ridiculous legend because she would break down if she didn't. But the beast deity wouldn't lie, right? He said that Grace was telling the truth, that he would come back. Chapter 1494. Seeing that Gu Mingming had calmed down, the beast deity grinned and said, Come, accompany Daddy to watch a television series." "Daddy, that little shit. Let's talk after watching the television." The beast deity did not let Gu Mingming speak again and just gave Elvis a look. Elvis immediately carried Gu Mingming in his arms and sat on the long bench obediently to accompany the beast deity to watch the television. There was no white fog. The beast deity just waved his hand and a screen appeared out of thin air in front of them. The screen was the scene of Gu Mingming riding on Snake's neck for a slam dunk. Gu Mingming held the ball with both hands and placed it into the basket in a daze. Following the sound of the ball bouncing on the ground, Gu Mingming's heart started beating wildly. She understood that Snake was using the slam dunk incident to tell her that no matter what she wanted to do, he would support her. "Thank you," Gu Mingming said softly. Snake picked up the ball and bounced it a few more times, saying, "I don't accept verbal thanks. I say, Great CEO, I have already sucked up to you to this extent, shouldn't you at least give me a raise?" Gu Mingming burst out laughing at Snake's words. Raise her salary? What raise? Monster Corporation belonged to him and he had given it to her out of the blue. She had no right to speak at all. She knew nothing about the operations and business of the corporation. At most she would be the CEO in name. The real person in charge was clearly the person under her, all right? However, Gu Mingming was still grateful that he was willing to lower himself to tease her. So she raised her chin proudly and said, "All right, I will give you a raise. Let's increase it by 20 yuan, okay?" "All right." Snake smiled exceptionally brightly. He looked up at Gu Mingming and asked, "Do you still want a slam dunk?" Gu Mingming shook her head and said, "Put me down." Snake did not reject her and pinched Gu Mingming's waist to put her down. Gu Mingming wanted to wrap her arms around Snake's neck, but she was not tall enough, so she had an idea and stepped on the basketball. Using the height of the basketball, she managed to wrap her arms around Snake's neck and used his body to stabilize the basketball. Mischievous. Snake frowned slightly and reprimanded her with a face full of affection. Those 2 simple words were filled with sweetness. "What's there to be afraid of? You'll catch me anyway. It's not like I'll fall." "Yeah, it's good that you know." Snake was very pleased with Gu Mingming's trust. Gu Mingming pursed her lips before abruptly planting a kiss on Snake's lips. She wanted to run after kissing him. But how would Snake let her have her way? Wrapping his arms around her waist, he lifted her up and pulled her into his embrace. Losing her balance, Gu Mingming instinctively wrapped her legs around Snake's waist, while his hands supported Gu Mingming's but steadily. Chapter 1495. The evening press conference was originally rejected by Snake, but when it was about to start, Snake received an international call from Country F, saying that when Snake's parents heard that he had transferred the Monsieur company to someone else, they thought that he was being bullied in City S, so they immediately flew over in a private jet, saying that they wanted to meet this person who dared to snatch away an entire company from their son's hands. Snake's parents thought that he was being bullied in City S, so they immediately flew over in a private jet, saying that they wanted to meet this person who dared to snatch an entire company from their son. Snake facepalmed. He knew very well what his parents were here for. Looking at Gu Mingming, Snake smiled helplessly. Seems like I can't reject the press conference. I will accompany you tonight. Didn't I say I can choose not to go? Gu Mingming was instantly terrified. Snake chuckled and rubbed Gu Mingming's little head. There's a surprise. It should be a shock. Gu Mingming shrunk her neck. I have never handled such situations before. What if I say the wrong thing? Say whatever you want to say. If you can't get it back, then I lose. Snake'll said it with ease, lazy and casual, but looking at Gu Mingming's anxious look, he could only sigh and add on. Don't worry, the media that are invited to attend are all financially related to the Monsieur company. They will automatically censor any news that is unfavorable to the Monsieur company. Even if a small reporter dares to write about it, he will not be able to pass the many layers of checks from approval to publication. Because those in power will not offend a big financial backer for a small piece of news. So even if you don't trust me, you should trust money, right? Gu Mingming felt much more assured after hearing that. She nodded in agreement. Yeah, that's true. Who can't live with money? Snake's face darkened. He was not reliable with money? She didn't trust him but trusted money? Wasn't he more valuable than anything else? With him around, wouldn't she have as much money as she wanted? The speed at which he earned money was faster than printing it. This little lass was really stupid. How did she even settle the score? Despise. Let's go home and change into our gowns. Snake stuffed Gu Mingming into the sports car without any explanation. He sent a text to his assistant before getting in the car. When they returned to the villa, the grooming staff was already waiting at the entrance. Gu Mingming was at a loss. Aren't we going to buy the gown first? Snake'll chuckled as he pinched Gu Mingming's little nose and shook it left and right. You really believe in the plots in romance novels? Buying a dress right before the dinner? Those assembly line products are for the nouveau riche to wear. My woman only wears custom-made clothes. Ah? Chapter 1497. With a god like Snake around, who would dare to say that Gu Mingming's gown was not beautiful? Moreover, it was custom-made by one of the top 10 designers in the world. Not to mention a young and beautiful girl like Gu Mingming, even an old lady with one foot in the grave would look stunning in it. Gu Mingming felt a little more confident after receiving the unanimous praise from the makeup artists. Sitting on the makeup chair, she allowed the makeup artist to start painting on her face and tugging on her hair. Gu Mingming did not dare to move recklessly and looked extremely uneasy. Snake, on the other hand, was much more at ease. He went upstairs and changed into a khaki suit with a white shirt inside. He wore a sapphire cufflinks and a sapphire blue tie, which matched the jewelry Gu Mingming was going to wear later. Snake'll was very familiar with attending such occasions, so he quickly tidied himself up and sat at the side leisurely as he watched Gu Mingming being served by the makeup artists. Gu Mingming looked both expectant and uneasy, feeling that she was extremely cute. Gu Mingming felt as if two holes were going to appear on her body from Snake's stare. She changed the topic awkwardly and asked, "Didn't you say that the top 10 designers' works are all on the second floor? But why do I only see 7? What about the other 3? Did you give them away?" "I threw them away," Snake answered casually, but Gu Mingming was so shocked by this word that she almost bit her tongue. Even if she did not understand the market, she knew how expensive the products personally made by a designer of this stature were. This guy threw them away the moment he opened his mouth? How much money did he waste? Why? Gu Mingming blurted out. Snake's face darkened as if he was still infuriated at the thought of those 3 outfits. He snorted twice before saying, "Bare chest, back, arms and legs. Do you think anyone can look at my woman? Top 10, I think it's just an undeserved reputation." Gu Mingming understood. He felt that the designs were too revealing, so he just gave them a pass. Gu Mingming smiled and did not say a word. Revealing clothes were indeed not her style. Even if he asked her to wear them, she would not be able to wear them out. However, the 3 pieces of clothing that were thrown away felt very wronged. Their skirts were just a little short, about 5 centimeters above the knee. They really could not be considered as exposing the chest, back, arms and legs. After everything was settled, Gu Mingming looked at Snake's khaki suit, which also had the word Meng embroidered on the chest area. She couldn't help but find it funny and said, "It's not appropriate to wear this at such a formal occasion, right?" Snake said disapprovingly, "Not pretty? I'll change to another set." Gu Mingming nodded and said, "Change to a normal suit," without any words. Snake stopped in his tracks and turned back to look at Gu Mingming in disbelief. He waved his hands to dismiss the makeup artist. The makeup artist did not dare to delay and walked out in a single file without keeping anything. Gu Mingming did not understand what was going on with the sudden oppressive atmosphere and could only stare blankly at Snake. Snake approached Gu Mingming step by step, his brows furrowed tightly as he asked, "Did I do something wrong?" Gu Mingming was confused and at a loss. "Are you feeling sorry for the 3 gowns that were thrown away?" "Most. I'll just get them back." "No, I don't like revealing clothes either. Anyway, I won't wear them. Moreover, you've already thrown them away, why would you want to get them back?" Chapter 1498. I'm not angry. Gu Mingming was at a loss. Snake gritted his teeth and said, "If you're not angry, why do you have to hide our relationship? I tolerated it when you didn't allow me to say that I know you in school, but now that you've agreed to be my girlfriend, why do you have to make me look like a shameful wild man? Gu Mingming, did I embarrass you so much to admit that we're a couple and make it so difficult for you? Are you so unwilling to let others know that I'm your man?" No. Gu Mingming was forced back step by Snake's aura. She was extremely timid. Snake forced Gu Mingming to a corner and pulled her into his arms a second before she could lean against the wall. He frowned and said, "The wall is cold, don't lean against it. Stick to me." With that, he turned around and leaned against the wall himself. Then he locked Gu Mingming in his arms and continued to ask in a condescending manner, "Since there's no such thing, why don't you let me wear clothes with your name embroidered on it?" Gu Mingming was stunned for 2 seconds before she realized what Snake was doing. She was speechless for a moment and even laughed at him. "What are you laughing at? I'm talking about a serious question." Gu Mingming shook her head and said, "I'm holding your arm to attend this kind of event. Who wouldn't know about our relationship? Do I have to use a word to explain it?" "I do." Snake insisted, "I want everyone to know that I'm yours the moment they see me, especially those females. Tisk, do you think you're filming Animal World? Females." Gu Mingming smiled nonchalantly and said, "I'm saying that as a CEO, you'll be laughed at if you always wear the word Meng on your chest. How is this trying to hide our relationship?" "I'm Snake who dares to laugh at me?" Snake raised his head and said arrogantly. Gu Mingming sighed helplessly and said, All right, if you don't want to change then so be it." Gu Mingming's hand gently touched the word on Snake's chest. Although it was childish, but it was undeniable that it gave Gu Mingming a sense of security. Only then did Snake's expression soften. He pinched Gu Mingming's chin and warned, "Don't try to hide our relationship. I want to stand with you openly. I want the whole world to know that you are mine. I will kill whoever dares to covet you. I also want the whole world to know that I'm yours. Whoever dares to lean on me, I'll kill their entire family." Gu Mingming felt that Snake's words were full of chuuni. She only treated it as a joke and did not take it seriously. This was because she still didn't know how he had dealt with Mo Bebe, nor did she know what had happened to her scumbag father. She only knew that Snake had money and power, but she didn't know that for her, Snake could fulfill every word he said. Snake was unwilling to let Gu Mingming sit in someone else's car. Only he could be responsible for her safety. Chapter 1499. At the so-called media conference, Snake and Gu Mingming only showed their faces and allowed the reporters to take a few photos. The rest of the public relations were handled by the company's legal department and public relations department, so Snake did not have to worry about it. Inside the venue, it was the gathering of the so-called upper class. Although the Monsieur company was nothing in Snake's eyes, it was already one of the top enterprises in the province. Not to mention how many people in City S had to bow down to it to make a living. Even the most influential people in the province had some form of business dealings with the Monsieur company. So, A major event like changing the CEO was like an earthquake to S City, so they naturally had to attend and observe the situation. On the other hand, it was because the previous CEO of the Monster Company was too mysterious. After working together for so many years, everyone was extremely curious about his identity. How to put it, it was as if someone was strangling you by the throat, telling you to live or die, but you had never even seen the person strangling you, so anyone would be curious. So when Snake held Gu Mingming's hand and appeared in front of everyone, it inevitably caused an uproar. Who would have thought that the person who could beat up a group of experienced people to the point where they could not retaliate was a young lad in his 20s? How was there any sign of him being immature when he was so ruthless in the business world? He was clearly a wily old fox, a troublemaker. Snake did not care about what others thought. He just held Gu Mingming's hand and walked directly to the food supply area. He picked a snack for Gu Mingming and said, "Eat it if you want, why are you just looking?" Gu Mingming asked in surprise, "There are so many snacks here, how did you know that I want to eat this? Do you know how to read minds?" Snake chuckled and rubbed Gu Mingming's little head dotingly, saying, "I don't know how to read minds, but I can recognize the look you like, because you look at me like that occasionally." Gu Mingming blushed and lowered her head to take a bite of the snack. From the corner of her eye, she saw someone trying to come forward to talk to Snake, but was blocked by the assistant behind him. All the social interactions were handled by the assistant, not giving anyone any chance to approach Snake. Gu Mingming felt that this was not very good, so she said softly, "I can just eat here, you can go and socialize, don't worry about me." Socializing? Snakel looked at Gu Mingming in surprise. He turned around to glance at the person who was trying to get closer to strike up a conversation. Without stopping, he looked back at Gu Mingming's face and pinched her little face, saying, "I am not here to socialize today, I am here to accompany you. We're together every day, do we still need someone to accompany us?" Gu Mingming mumbled in disapproval. "It's different today." Snake's gaze was deep as he said, "I have someone to introduce to you." Gu Mingming swallowed the cake in her mouth and asked softly, "Who is it?" "My parents." Snake answered casually, but it made Gu Mingming cough. The cake crumbs got stuck in her windpipe, choking Gu Mingming until her face turned red. Tears welled up in her eyes as she waved her hands and said, "I'm going to the washroom." "I will accompany you." Snake's face was filled with worry and helplessness. Gu Mingming shook her head and waved her hands. "I can do it myself." With that, Gu Mingming ran off without looking back. Chapter 1500. "Yes, I will take care of it," Snake's assistant replied succinctly. He did not even ask why it was not good before turning around to negotiate with the organizer. After that, the cake shop that was supposed to receive a lot of praise for hosting the Monster Company's press conference disappeared overnight. It ceased all activities in S City and not a single branch could be found. The reason was, the quality of the cake was not up to standard and it choked the precious daughter of the Monster Company's owner. Let's not talk about this for now. They would only talk about how Gu Mingming locked herself in the cubicle after entering the washroom. Her heart was beating wildly at first, but now she could foresee her tragic ending. It's time to wake up from Cinderella's dream. Snake could love her, pamper her and indulge her, but his parents would never agree to him dating a worthless and down-and-out girl like her. That's right, if she was Snake's mother she would not like her either. Snake was blinded by love and looked at her no matter what, but his parents, on such an occasion and with so many reporters at the entrance, if there was some scandal of Cinderella's dream of becoming a wealthy family being shattered, wouldn't there be a huge uproar? She was just a nobody and people would quickly forget about her, but Snake would definitely be criticized by others. Moreover, with Snake's stubbornness towards her, he would definitely go against his parents for her and things would get out of hand. Gu Mingming bit her lower lip and patted her face. She tried her best to smile and tell herself, "It's alright, I've already been very happy during this period of time. One should not be too greedy or they would suffer retribution." With that thought, Gu Mingming gathered her emotions and prepared to push open the door to wash her face. Then she would borrow a set of clothes from the cleaning lady and sneak away before things got out of hand. But she realized that the cubicle door had been blocked from the outside. Gu Mingming tried to push it open but to no avail. Then a voice altered by a voice changer came from outside the door. "My parents divorced when I was 4 and my parents remarried. A burden that no one wants, how dare you get involved with Snake? Trash should stay in trash places. Don't have any wishful thinking." With that, a basin of dirty water poured down from above her head. Gu Mingming could not dodge in time and her head was drenched. If she was a girl from a normal family she would have curled up in a corner, trembling and crying for help. But just like what the other party had said, Gu Mingming was a burden that no one wanted. She had long recognized the fact that no matter how miserable she was, no one would come to save her. She could only count on herself. So Gu Mingming lifted her leg and gave the door a hard kick. Chapter 1501. Just as Gu Mingming raised her arm to give the woman a second slap, her wrist was grabbed. Gu Mingming looked up abruptly. The person holding onto her wrist was none other than Snake. His thin lips were pursed and his gaze was sharp. His entire gaze was locked onto her, not giving a single glance to anyone else. But his gaze was filled with disappointment, sadness and anger. Gu Mingming chuckled. Yes, he should be angry. What kind of occasion was this? He had brought her here, but she had dirted herself all over. Now she was even riding on someone else's body to fight like a shrew. If it was her, she would also be disappointed and angry. Gu Mingming pulled her arm away, but Snake did not let go. Instead, he tugged forcefully and pulled Gu Mingming into his arms. He did not seem to care that the filth on her body would land on him. He just locked her tightly in his arms and went up to the second floor without a word. The socialite who had been slapped finally reacted and started bawling loudly, as if she had suffered a great grievance. But she did not cry for long before she was forcefully taken away by the security guards and locked in the storeroom, as if awaiting trial. Snake brought Gu Mingming to the exclusive resting room on the second floor. Although it was called a resting room, the interior design was actually very similar to a hotel's presidential suite. It was a place for guests to rest after getting drunk, so it was fully equipped with a bathroom and everything else. Snake placed Gu Mingming in the huge bathtub and adjusted the temperature to turn on the water. Then he started taking off her clothes without saying a word. Gu Mingming crossed her arms and looked at Snake warily. What are you doing? Not washing? Do you want to stay dirty? Don't you feel uncomfortable? Snake avoided Gu Mingming's eyes and stared fixedly at the dress that was stained by the dirty water. Gu Mingming pushed Snake and said, I will wash myself, you can go out first. Snake's body froze and did not move. After a while, he suddenly laughed coldly and said, I will go out? And then? So that you can take the chance to leave me? Gu Mingming was stunned. She knew that Snake was angry, but she did not expect that the reason for his anger was because he heard her say that she wanted to leave him. Lowering her head, she took a deep breath and said, Snake, let's break up. Snake acted as if he did not hear anything, but the veins on his temples throbbed and his chest rose and fell violently. He gritted his teeth and said, Shower first. Snake. Gu Mingming roared. Snake looked up, his green eyes darkening. He was angry, really angry. I told you, what are you going to call me? Snake pinched Gu Mingming's chin with one hand and said with a cold expression, Don't make me angry, just call me properly. As long as you are obedient. I can pretend that nothing happened just now. I heard everything and you didn't say anything. Gu Mingming's face was cold as ice. Gu Mingming's chin was hurting from being pinched, but how could it be more painful than her heart? She had been telling herself from the start that Snake was not from the same world as her and that she would eventually lose him. But she couldn't control her heart, and she still sank into his love. After drifting for more than 10 years without anyone to rely on, she finally had someone to rely on. It was like a drowning person grabbing onto a life-saving straw. Asking her to leave him now was as painful as gouging out her heart. Chapter 1502. We belong to two different worlds, we don't have a future. Wake up, it's better for everyone if I leave. Gu Mingming's tears fell uncontrollably from the corners of her eyes, her sorrowful gaze making Snake's heart wrench. He hugged Gu Mingming tightly in his arms, whispering into her ear, I know we belong to two different worlds. So I came to your world to find you, I came to your world to wait for you. You clearly like me too, don't you? Why do you have to leave? Snake's voice was trembling, every word sounding so heavy in Gu Mingming's ears. Gu Mingming sniffled, Your parents are here. They won't agree to us being together, I don't want to see you get hurt for me, that's why I left. Snake's back stiffened, then he suddenly smiled, holding onto Gu Mingming's shoulders, squinting his eyes at her. So you want to leave? Gu Mingming nodded, not daring to look into Snake's eyes. Snake heaved a long sigh, he was really furious, so furious that his eyes were about to crack open, but he could not do anything to her. He really wanted to crack open her head to see what was inside. He knew without a need to crack. You watch too many television dramas. Snake gritted his teeth. From today onwards, you are forbidden from watching those useless romance novels and messy television dramas. Gu Mingming was confused, weren't they talking about breaking up? Wasn't the atmosphere so heavy just now? What did it have to do with romance novels and television dramas? Romance novels and television dramas were innocent. Snake narrowed his eyes. Do you think my parents will throw a check at your face to make you leave me? Gu Mingming was taken aback, then nodded. Do you think my mum will splash water at you? Snake asked again. Gu Mingming nodded again. With every nod from Gu Mingming, Snake's cold smile grew wider, then he asked again, do you think if you don't break up with me my parents will put me under house arrest? Then I will go on a hunger strike, my parents will use your safety to threaten me, forcing me to compromise. In the end, I will have no choice but to follow my family's wishes and marry someone I don't like. Then we will be strangers, never to meet again, right? Gu Mingming blushed and nodded again. Snake lifted his hand, really wanting to strangle her. Unfortunately, he could not bear to do so. In the end, he only knocked on her forehead and said, are you comparing me to those useless trash in novels? Gu Mingming was stunned. She could not keep up with Snake's pace. Snake pinched the space between his brows and said, I know your desire for kinship, so I want to introduce you to my parents. After all, when we get married in the future they will be your family. I want to make up for the regrets in your family. I want to be loved and protected by my parents like everyone else. Let's not talk about this first. You'll understand later. Gu Mingming was still in a daze and could only stare blankly at Snake. Snake continued, in your eyes am I a useless piece of trash? Gu Mingming wanted to nod her head out of habit, but after receiving Snake's gaze she immediately snapped back to reality and shook her head. Snake sighed heavily before saying, do you think I will allow someone to throw a check at you? Splash water on you? Then you put me under house arrest and bullied you? Chapter 1503. Snake was really speechless. He could not explain to Gu Mingming what kind of preparations he had made in the 19 years he had been waiting for her. All the obstacles in their way had long been cleared by him. There was no one in the entire family who dared to criticize Snake. He was the pillar of the entire family. Snake's words, it's easy to let a family prosper, but it's even easier to destroy a family, had been a constant reminder to everyone in the family. In the past 19 years, Snake had become the absolute truth in the family. Everything he did was correct. So the woman he liked was the goddess of the entire family. The melodramatic plot that Gu Mingming was worried about would never happen. But he could not reveal his identity to Gu Mingming for the time being. Take a bath. I'll bring you to watch a show after you're clean. Snake tore Gu Mingming's clothes and threw them to the side without any hesitation. Seeing how Gu Mingming was trying to cover up an embarrassment, he said coldly, you will be mine sooner or later, why are you blocking me? Gu Mingming's face was so red that it looked like blood was about to drip out. But she could not struggle against Snake. In the end, she could only helplessly allow Snake to wash her inside and out. Then he wrapped her up in a large bath towel and placed her beside the dressing table. He used a small hair dryer to blow her hair. This was not the first time Snake had bathed Gu Mingming. He had bathed her once in the beast world. But that time she was poisoned by his snake venom. Not to mention struggling, it was questionable if she could even breathe. So the bath was very smooth that time. But today, the more she struggled, the more obvious his reaction was. Using Gu Mingming's words, he was a 1,000-year snake demon who had lived 2 lifetimes. Yet he was tormented by her in a bathtub like a young boy. Gu Mingming's face was as red as a ripe apple. She curled up there and let him blow dry her hair. She looked so pitiful that she was about to cry. It was really lovable. Snake squatted down and peeked her little face out of the bath towel. If you feel that you're at a disadvantage, let's go back to the bathroom. I'll strip myself naked for you to wash back, alright? Gu Mingming's face turned even redder. She stiffened her neck and turned her face to the other side. She did not want to look at Snake. Snake smiled and said, you hurt my heart by casually saying that you want to break up, and you have no intention of coaxing me. So I took my own benefits to make up for it. You have no right to be angry, understand? Snake pinched Gu Mingming's little chin and turned her face towards him. It's not that you can't escape when you meet with a tricky situation, but you can only escape into my arms. If you dare to have any thoughts of leaving me again, no matter what the reason is, I will take care of you on the spot, and then tie you up to get your marriage certificate. Do you hear me? Gu Mingming hesitated, not daring to nod. Snake took a deep breath and said patiently, Gu Mingming, listen carefully. You are mine and can only be mine. Don't even mention the fact that you can't escape from me. Even if you do, I'll turn the world upside down to find you. Besides, you have my mark on you. No one in this world would dare to hide you. The whole world will send you back for me. Do you understand? Gu Mingming felt aggrieved. Why did it sound like he was threatening her? Chapter 1504. Seeing how Gu Mingming refused to express her stance, Snake felt helpless. He could resolve a financial crisis worth tens of billions within 3 days, make his competitors fall from the clouds into the mud within 3 hours, and make Monster Company stocks rise to the upper limit within 3 minutes, creating billions of profits for the company. But he could not make this little person in front of him say that she would not leave him. In this world, the only opponent he could not defeat was probably her. Helplessly holding onto Gu Mingming's shoulders, he turned her towards him and said as if surrendering, "You were the one who wanted to abandon me, shouldn't I be the one who should be angry?" Gu Mingming's heart ached as she muttered softly, "I did not want to abandon you. I only wanted to let you go." She finally opened her mouth and Snake felt a little relieved. Gu Mingming looked at Snake and felt her nose sting. Feeling wronged, she said, "Who would be willing to give up such a perfect boyfriend like you? I have never been cherished and treasured like this before. Do you know how hard it is to let go? I can't wait to stick to you for the rest of my life, but one cannot be too selfish. You are like the moonlight, only to be looked up to. How can I drag you down from the sky into the mud to suffer in this dirty world with me? I like you so much, so I can't bear to become your flaw. I had to grit my teeth to let you go. I did not abandon you." Snake was stunned as the corners of his lips curled up uncontrollably. He narrowed his eyes and said, "What did you say just now?" Gu Mingming said in a daze, "I said, I did not abandon you." The previous sentence. "I had to grit my teeth to let you go." The previous sentence. "I can't bear to become your flaw." Snake shook his head and said, "Not this sentence, the previous sentence." Gu Mingming thought for a while and said softly with uncertainty, "I like you so much." Snake pulled Gu Mingming into his arms and hugged her tightly. He heaved a long sigh of relief as if the rock pressing on his chest had finally been lifted. He said, "I have waited so long, waiting for you to say that you like me. I've been waiting so long that my heart is anxious. So you are not forced to stay by my side because of the contract, but because you like me, right?" Gu Mingming nodded. "Are you an idiot? If she didn't like you, would she let you hug and kiss her whenever you wanted? If I don't like you, I'll let you sleep in my bed? I didn't like it when you were in the bathroom just now. I'd rather kill myself than let you bathe me." The more Snake heard, the more delighted he became. He was overjoyed but did not know how to express it. He could only kiss Gu Mingming's lips fiercely, with ecstasy and a tinge of punishment. "Ouch, it hurts." Gu Mingming's lips were bleeding from Snake's bite. She frowned at Snake and pouted coquettishly. Chapter 1505. Gu Mingming nodded her head obediently. Snake then hugged her in his arms in satisfaction and kissed her little hand gently. He then continued, "You have to remember, I am not like the moonlight that you can see but not touch. I am your boyfriend and I am willing to do anything for you. I also have the ability to protect you. I went through so much trouble to come to your side, not just for you to let me off. Don't belittle yourself in the future. You are not a flaw, you are my life. So, don't ever talk about leaving me again, understand? Things like breaking up. I don't want to hear it a second time. Don't even think about it in the future." "But, no buts." Snake gritted his teeth and stared into Gu Mingming's eyes. "I can't leave you. Unless you want me to die, you are not allowed to leave me." Gu Mingming was stunned for 2 seconds before she suddenly smiled. Seeing her smile, Snake's mood became better. Everything was clear after the storm. Yeah, that was it. If anyone else dared to betray, no, not to mention betray, as long as they dared to go against Snake, they would definitely not have a good ending. But Gu Mingming was an exception. She only needed to smile, whisper some gentle words or even cast a glance at him. Snake would surrender in a matter of minutes and the storm would turn into a sunny day. "What are you smiling at?" Tapping Gu Mingming's little nose, Snake asked without any temper. Gu Mingming cleared her throat. "According to your character as a CEO, shouldn't you say, 'If you dare to leave me, I will kill you'? Why would it be, 'I can't leave you unless you want me to die'? Isn't this 'If you dare to leave me, I will kill myself in front of you' only used by women?" Snake was not annoyed. He just hugged Gu Mingming and kissed her. "Because I know my own limits. I can't bear to hurt you. Moreover, I have seen you with cuts all over your body. So I know how afraid I am of you getting hurt." But Snake did not say the second sentence out loud. "Then won't you be in my clutches in the future?" Gu Mingming blinked her eyes and asked. Snake nodded his head honestly and said without any hesitation, "The only thing I will not give in to you is breaking up. Other than that, I'll do whatever you say. I'll listen to you. You can do whatever you want. Gu Mingming lowered her head and said softly, "You will spoil me like this. It's better to spoil her." Snake kissed her and said, "My woman should be domineering." Gu Mingming smiled without saying a word, expressing her helplessness towards Snake's worldview. Snake pulled Gu Mingming's chin and said, "So, I want you to give me a definite answer. You will not leave me again, right?" "It depends on your performance." Gu Mingming blushed and turned her head away, feeling a little shy. She did not answer yes. Because when she said that, it felt as if she had agreed to marry him, but he clearly hadn't proposed yet. But Gu Mingming did not know that her ambiguous answer had dug a big hole for herself. Because from then on, Snake had to follow her even when she went to the toilet. He was afraid that she would climb out of the toilet's ventilation window and escape on a UFO. Chapter 1506. When Snake was bathing Gu Mingming, he had already instructed his assistant to fetch another set of gown from the villa. Although there was no makeup team to redo Gu Mingming's makeup, Gu Mingming was young and had good skin. She looked beautiful even without any makeup. After changing into the new gown, her hair was blown straight by Snake, draping lightly behind her back. When Gu Mingming held Snake's hand and walked down from the second floor, the scene downstairs was a little strange. How should she put it? The originally harmonious banquet now looked like a court. An old couple sat on a European-style sofa in the middle of the hall. It was obvious that they were of a certain age, but they weren't old. Their every movement exuded a sense of nobility. The man took out an old pocket watch from his jacket pocket, glanced at it, and then said in Chinese that wasn't too standard, "Now an hour has passed. If you cannot give me a satisfactory answer, then, today's matter will be escalated to the national level. I don't know if you can bear the responsibility of insulting the F country's royalty." Gu Mingming looked at Snake in a daze. Snake only patted her little hand that was in the crook of his arm, indicating for her to wait and see. Gu Mingming nodded obediently and followed Snake to the middle of the hall. "Father, mother." Snake was very polite and gentlemanly. To be honest, Snake had never been so polite to these two since he was born. So, when he greeted them so formally, they felt a little flattered. "Uncle, auntie," Gu Mingming said awkwardly. She looked at the two nobles carefully and wondered if she should run away or just use Snake as a meat shield if they threw something at her. Snake's mother saw Snake's arm and the hand that was gently placed on Gu Mingming's hand and instantly understood where her son's respect for them came from. It seemed like Snake really liked this girl. So, a smile bloomed on Snake's mother's face. Just based on this point, this daughter-in-law was a good one to be able to make this iceberg-like son treat them with such respect. If Snake could get along better with his family after marrying her, then this daughter-in-law would be a gift from the heavens. It was no exaggeration to say that Snake's mother was already thinking about which noble her future grandson should hire as a private tutor as she looked at Gu Mingming. Come, my precious daughter-in-law." Snake's mother waved at Gu Mingming warmly. Gu Mingming felt that this development was different from the television series and was a little confused. Snake smiled and nodded. He let go of Gu Mingming's hand and let her sit beside his mother obediently. Snake's mother held onto Gu Mingming's little hand lovingly and said with a face full of love, "Don't be afraid, mother will stand up for you. Although this isn't F country, we won't let anyone bully our daughter-in-law." "That's right." The old gentleman at the side slammed his walking stick on the ground and said, "Our precious daughter-in-law has been humiliated here. You must give us an explanation." Gu Mingming was at a loss. So this court-like scene was to help her vent her anger? Who are you interrogating? What kind of humiliation had she suffered? Snake's lips curled into a smile, not because of anything else, but because Gu Mingming did not reject the term daughter-in-law. Chapter 1507. The screen flashed and disappeared in front of her. Gu Mingming turned back to look at the beast deity and smiled helplessly. So he met his parents? Don't tell me the next episode will be about him getting married? The beast deity shrugged. I don't know. The children will have their own blessings. Gu Mingming was speechless. She shook her head. I'm done watching the show. Father, answer my question. The beast deity nodded. Go ahead. Gu Mingming asked, if that legend is true, then Mota Mountains is Whale's original form? The beast deity nodded. Gu Mingming asked again, what's the relationship between whales and Little Shit? Little Shit clearly said that he had never been to Mota Mountains. But how did he know that there was a snake path there? Alvis said that Little Shit would go crazy the moment he got close to that mountain. He couldn't control himself no matter what. He even said that something was summoning him. The beast deity hesitated for a moment. Then he smiled and stroked Gu Mingming's hair. Let him tell you these questions himself when he comes back, alright? Gu Mingming was stunned for a moment. Then she smiled and nodded. As long as he's fine, I'm at ease. The beast deity said that little shit could come back and tell her personally. This meant that at least little shit was safe and he could still come back. That was enough. Everyone had their own feelings that they could not control. Gu Mingming did not force little shit to tell her everything, and even more so, she could not ask him to place all his burdens on her again. Her relationship with little shit was the type where they would drink and chat merrily when they were free. When they were busy, they would cultivate separately. When they were in trouble, they would risk their lives to accompany each other. She knew that as long as something happened to her, little shit would rush back to help her no matter where he was. And vice versa. Little shit would definitely know that she would do anything for him. He must have his own reasons for leaving without saying goodbye. Since the beast deity said that little shit would come back, she could rest assured. Gu Mingming's heart was finally relieved and she felt much better. Tilting her head to look at the beast deity, she leaned against Elvis's chest tiredly and said, "Father, you said that the black fog I inhaled when I took the kiss of the ocean was whale's poison, the soul of the forest fused into my body was his blood, the love of the sky was his incarnation, the tear of the beast deity was given to me by Snake and Snake is his son. Why do I feel that all the 7 treasures are related to him?" The beast deity smiled without saying a word, only nodding his head. An idea flashed across Gu Mingming's mind. She sat up straight and asked, "Will whales be revived after I gather all 7 treasures?" The beast deity's expression froze for a moment. Then he smiled with some disappointment. His gaze drifted into the distance as if he was thinking about something. After a long time he finally replied, "Perhaps." Gu Mingming was triggered. She clenched her fists tightly and said, "If that's the case, wouldn't Gregory be back soon?" The beast deity smiled at Gu Mingming. "You were so unhappy when I asked you to take him in the previous time. How long has it been? Is he that important now?" Gu Mingming shook her head and said, "Father, you don't understand. My feelings for Gregory is not love. I just don't have the strength to bear the burden of losing human lives one after another. The feeling of sitting back and enjoying the fruits of others' labor, and it's a heavy price at that, is too torturous. One snake has already pushed me to the brink of collapse. If there's another Gregory, I will go crazy." Aside from the topic. Leah had been preparing fresh food, and if Gu Mingming did not wake up by the time he was done, he would give the food to Oriton and cook again. So when Gu Mingming woke up, there would always be something to eat. Leah asked as he fed Gu Mingming, "Where are we going now?" Gu Mingming thought for a while and said, "Let's go back to Sauter. With that pervert Cole there, I'm afraid that Hudda and his brothers will be at a disadvantage." Elvis and Leah had no objections. They would go wherever she wanted to go. This was the family's standard. Chapter 1509. When they came, it was filled with laughter. But when they returned, the atmosphere was a little heavy because Gregory and Wabi were not around. Because of the lack of interest in sightseeing, the 1-month journey only took 20 days to return to Sauter. The atmosphere in Sauter was a little strange. How should she put it? It was too peaceful, so peaceful that it was strange. Based on Cole's temper, he would definitely do something when Gu Mingming and Elvis were not around. But when Gu Mingming returned, she realized that the tribe was as peaceful as a paradise. Even in the past, the Fox clan and the Wolf clan were always in conflict with each other. Why was it that after her trip to Moda Mountains, it was as if everything had changed? Gu Mingming did not return to the stone castle. Instead, she went straight to the meeting room. Hudda, Qixin and Jiaoyu knew that Gu Mingming had returned and were all waiting for her in the meeting room. Elvis instructed the wild wolves to call the 7 wolves from Sandy's family over, while Leah volunteered to meet Cole. Although Gu Mingming was worried that Cole would use his status as the Fox King to pressure Leah, but other than Leah, there was no one else who would not fall into Cole's trap. Leah kissed Gu Mingming's forehead, assuring her that he could retreat unscathed and not let her worry. Only then did Gu Mingming nod and allow him to meet Cole. In the meeting room, Qixin honestly explained how he had used himself as a bargaining chip to threaten Cole not to act rashly. Gu Mingming slammed the table in anger. Before she could say anything, Qixin pounced into Gu Mingming's arms and sobbed. "Mum, you don't know how scared I was these few days. Without you around, there's no one to protect me." Sobs, sobs, sobs. A motherless child is so pitiful. I can only hang around with Cole. I was so afraid of that pervert. He's not afraid of death. I almost couldn't see you anymore. Gu Mingming was dumbfounded by Qixuan's crying. The scolding she was about to say got stuck in her throat and became, "All right, good boy. Mom is back. With me around, he won't dare to bully you again." Qixin wiped his non-existent tears and nodded pitifully. He looked as if he had been greatly frightened. Gu Mingming could not bear to scold him anymore. After all, he was just a 3-year-old child. Sigh. Qixin and Jiayu exchanged a look. The first move to deal with their mother, acting pitiful, had succeeded. As for why the Fox clan and Wolf clan suddenly got along with each other, it was an accident. Sandy's family now had a new pet. It was none other than the gentle and flirtatious Arnold. Normally, it wasn't a big deal for a female to have a pet at home, but this female just had to be Sandy and the pet was Arnold. This made things a little tricky. Gu Mingming, the messenger of the beast deity, already had many complaints about the Fox clan.